Saw dudes, after a very long and difficult break, I'm back. Now I have to make videos, and to start I want to highlight a viewer's build. Thank you Alex for sharing this with me. Today's build makes use of Felwinter's Helm and the Strand Warlock grapple melee, which allows for super easy clearing. We will be combining this with the Navigator, a Strand Trace rifle that gives us support utility and allows us to swing around like a certain vigilante I shall not name. Let's get started. Alright, time for the game loop. First, you'll want to create a grapple point using the Navigator. After placing it, spam your grapple melee, using it to kill or chunk enemies down. If enemies can be killed using finishers, do that instead. The rest of your time should be spent throwing tangles or using the Navigator to sever enemies or get woven mail. Rinse and repeat. The abilities are standard. Needle Storm is the only super we have, but is great for emergency ad clear and boss DPS. Healing Rift provides support in dangerous environments. Arcane Needle isn't used much, but does unravel targets that are hit for extra damage. Finally, we have Grapple. This is our bread and butter. The grapple melee kills will proc Felwinter's Helm and unravel enemies hit. This is great for general ad clear and even yellow bar killing. For the aspects, we have Mindspun Invocation and the Wanderer. Mindspun Invocation causes grapple melee hits to create 3 threadlings. The Wanderer causes destroyed tangles to release a suspending explosion. Thrown tangles seek enemies, embed on hit, and explode after a delay. Threadling kills also now spawn a tangle. Fragments for today are Thread of Evolution, Finality, Generation, and Propagation. Evolution increases threadling travel speed, distance, and damage. Finality causes finishers to create threadlings, which pairs nicely with Felwinter's Helm. Generation grants grenade ability energy when dealing damage to enemies. Finally, Thread of Propagation grants unraveling rounds to strand weapons on a powered melee kill. Let's cover the armor. First off, Felwinter's Helm had Harmonic Siphon, Special Ammo Finder, and Special Ammo Scout. On the gloves, there was Heavy Handed, Momentum Transfer, and Font of Focus. For the robe, I equipped Melee Damage Resistance, Concussive Dampener, and a Variable Resistance mod. The slippers had Recuperation and 2 copies of Strand Weapon Surge. Lastly, the bond had Reaper, Time Dilation, and Bomber. Time Dilation can be swapped for Proximity Ward if you need the extra safety. Time to talk about stats. Since this build is melee oriented, having a decent resilience level is required. You will need an amount above 70 to take this build into higher level content without too many issues. The next stat you'll want to focus on is Discipline, since our main form of damage is our grapple melee. Be sure not to go above 70 points to avoid wasting the font mod. Any remaining stat points can be put into Recovery or Intellect. Consider subscribing if you found the video helpful. It helps me out a lot. Today's build only has one weapon loadout, that being the Navigator, the Ikelos SMG, and Cataphract GL3. The Navigator is arguably the most important aspect of this whole setup. It grants us woven mail, severs enemies, and most importantly allows us to spam our grapple melee through the placement of grapple points. To say this gun is a Swiss Army knife is an understatement. Be sure to use this gun on teammates to give them woven mail, since it will make hard encounters much easier. The Ikelos SMG holds a special place in my heart. It's an ad clear machine, but also has great utility, much like our green apple laser pointer. The role I use is Extended Barrel, Seraph Rounds, Shoot to Loot, and Volt Shot. This role is perfect for the build. Shoot to Loot allows us to pick up orbs and bricks from a distance. Volt Shot gives us the ability to clear crowds and stun overload champions, letting our setup cover all 3 champion types. Finally, we have Cataphract GL3. It's a strand grenade launcher and we have surge mods, so this is a no-brainer. The role I would chase is hard launch, spike grenades, envious assassin, and bait and switch. Feel free to switch this out for another strand heavy weapon if you like. Once again, I would like to thank Alex for sharing this build with me. I love being able to switch things around and make them play in a slightly different way. I plan to release another video soon if I can. I have a mental health video and a mountaintop video in the works. As always, thank you for watching and happy farming.